really important.
Right.
That is
And that
how,
is why they don't struggle to find workers.
yes, precisely.
Okay.
Because in
Mm,
my
good.
community, when I was younger, I grew up in a PMP community, right? I grew up in a strong PMP community. The community that I grew up in, they had 600 voters, and they only have probably 110 JLP supporters at the time, right? And I remember one night they invited me to the meeting and told me that the MP caretaker was coming. And I went to the meeting because I had a question for him. And my simple question was, you're running to become the MP. What is your plan for the constituency? Seeing that you're saying the sitting MP is not doing anything, what is going to be your plan?
So you want an alternative.
And you want an alternative. So tell me, what is your plan for young people and for the constituency and our own? When I went to the meeting, I asked the question. The man turned to me and said, vote for me first, and then you will find out.
Oh, typical. That sound familiar to you?
So I said to him, but this no make no sense. How can I vote for a person that I don't know his plans and I don't see the vision for the constituency? He said, oh, I should not worry myself. I said, okay, let me speak to the MP. Let me speak to the MP and ask him what is his plans for the young people of the constituency, seeing that he wants to continue as the MP. I reached out to him. I didn't get to him at the time, but there were people in the constituency that had connections with him. And I never involved in politics. I was not. I didn't even like to sit and listen budget debate. But I never have a chance in the matter. But anyways, when I sit and I reason with the laborites them in the constituency, because this was my time to be enumerated. It was going to be my first time to vote, and it was going to be my first time being involved in the growth of my community. And when I sit and I spoke to the laborites them, I draw a conclusion there and then. And it is because in that community, most of the people that supported the Jamaica Labour Party were working class people. And 99% of the people that supported the PMP were people that didn't work, or do manual labor or minimum labor. So I said to myself, but if all of these people working, how can I go out and support and join a group of people that don't have no vision for themselves? Anyways, I got a call one day from the MP, and the MP said I should come and talk to him. And we sit and we spoke. And when we spoke at length, he reminded me of what he told me one thing. He said, young man, I'm not going to give you no fish. Because if I give you a fish, I have to be continually giving you a fish. What I will do is teach you how to fish so you can go out and catch your own fish and make something for yourself. So you don't have to be dependent on anybody. And that is where I got involved in politics. And after I spoke to the MP, I went back to my community and I shared what I spoke about with him. And the first labor right meeting that was held in that community, I organized it. And I never turned back from then. But growing in the politics, I realized another thing, that the People's National Party is a set of people that don't like to lose. And whenever they see that they are losing, they will do any and everything. And I continually say it and I will forever say it. I remember there are days when we used to go to conference and or we on motorcades or something, and you will hear that you should not go on this piece of road because the road has been oiled. I don't know if people remember that. They oil the roads. I remember one day we were going to conference and we reached in Clarendon, Mapen. That is before we going on the highway, and we had to pass this community Canaanites. And from we reached Canaanites, stone rain down like ice from heaven, man. Bare stone, and it reached a point that whenever Labourite passed in that area, you had to have police and soldiers out there trying to prevent PMP from stoning the Labourites.
So okay, they used to stone a Labourite bus.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I remember one.
As you said that, I have something to share because did you know the 80 election, the war never start until the announcement of the prime minister. Just when them here say no, the prime minister is Eddie Siaga. Jesus Christ, man. Some gunshot tear.
Well,
I'm telling you.
When I hear Joshua speaking about how they what they will do and how they operate, I can attest to that
Mm-hmm.
because I went through my fair share of battles with the PMP. I remember one day we were touring the constituency, and we came into this PMP stronghold. You don't find 6 Labourite in that constituent in that community, and they blocked the roads, and they started to rain bottles and stones from all angles. And there was this there, and the funny thing is, there was this youth and the motorcade. The person that were carrying the Labourites is a JLP, but that youth worked with him, and he was a PMP supporter. His whole family was PMP. But because he worked with the guy, he came on the motorcade as well. And the first stone that was flung in that bus actually hit him. The stone actually hit him right above his eye.
Mm.
And we had to rush with him to the hospital. And we had to call for police. We had to call for police to escort us out of that community. And while we were going through, they slashed the four tires on one of the vans, and we had to, and the motorcade was broken up in 2 pieces. So when the front of the motorcade reached to its destination, the other half of the motorcade was in that community, battling and sighting and dodging stones. And we went through it, man. You know, you're living in a country where you're not, it's like you're not free to support a particular party. Everybody's not going to be a Labourite, everybody's not going to be a PMP. Leave people, let them choose. And there's a notion that I see on Facebook and other places where they're calling Andrew Hitler. And I ask the question time and time again. If they know what the meaning of comrade is, and if they knew that Hitler himself was a comrade, because Hitler was a socialist, just like the socialism that the PMP party embrace, and they have the gall to come and say that Andrew is Hitler.
No, because they know what them up to. Yeah, so them feel like labor right and them. And one next thing them always come and say, because sometimes when you talk to them and when you start tell them truth pan top of truth pan top of truth, then say none of them not good for the country. You see what I'm
And
saying?
that is from
When
the PMP playbook. And anytime you realize that the PMP, when you're talking to a PMP, and you realize that they start to lose in the conversation,
yeah,
the first thing they start to do is get personal.
exactly.
They start to get personal, and then you will never have a good conversation with any well-thinking PMP, and they go down to that route. Because I have PMP friends, and we will sit and we will have our drinks together. We will talk about politics, but we will never ever try to disrespect anybody or get personal. We talk about politics, and because we are off the air, and the thing is, how you know a good PMP is when he can look at you and say, why? Your country, your government are going good enough. But them can them need to improve on this, or they need to improve on that.
Them people them different. As me say, me try go up on I don't try go up on them live. Me only a pass through. I don't say tag to listen.
I
Yeah,
don't go on them live
because I'm
either.
not like that because then we block you, yeah?
I don't
And
go on live
I,
neither.
I just want to listen for 1 5 minute.
I
Listen
don't
some good thing.
I don't listen
Because
to
other day I was listening, right? And this guy said was saying some suggestion about Texas and what them see happen in Texas and if the government can do that. Remember, this man asking a question and nobody answer to the man. Everybody silent. You know where man do come off because him realize this is not the place. You see what I'm saying? I mean, know if this man did come here with the same question, he would have get an answer.
I don't listen them. I don't have time for them. Because let me tell you something. If you want if you want to increase your knowledge, you have to associate yourself with people who is brighter than you and think way ahead than you. If you associate yourself with people that have less knowledge than you yourself is going to be like them. No, what you have to do is get the truth for yourself. Don't let nobody tell you any foolishness. You don't. Once you sit down and you listen them, the foolery that they speak will always play in your head and play on your mental capacity. Because listen, man, I see some things that they put on social media, and I tell you so many times, I feel like I'll just go on and come off social media just to avoid seeing the foolishness, because there's a person can take so much and so more. So I don't entertain them none at all. Right? If you come with something substantial, fine. I will listen to you then. But once you come with the foolishness and the misinformation and the propaganda, I don't have no time for that.
So the Bible said, fools by the multitude of word that they speak. And
Yes.
that lead me to the PMP them. Them just talk one bag of garbage. And
Yeah,
they,
man.
you know what they do? They've tried to feed people with garbage, you know. So if you consume that, you know what going to happen to you in the long run, you know.
What I try to do, and it's just recently I start to come on live and give my
You
input
must
because
come often though.
I
Even me
normally
myself need to come often.
I normally sit and listen, and most of the time I am on the road. But
Yeah.
what I try to encourage um forums like this is one, get the information out there to people because there are so many people in Jamaica and in the diaspora that don't have the full facts. Two, stop paying
But
attention.
some of them don't want to hear neither.
No man, you see, let- you spoke about the Bible just now, and I'm going to give you another illustration. The Bible speaks about the farmer who, when he went out and throwing seeds, some
Mm-hmm.
fall on stone, some fall on all about.
Yeah, yeah.
But there are some that fall on good soil and take root and it bear fruit. You will
Mm-hmm.
not get everybody. You
That's
understand?
so true.
The second thing is stop paying attention to the PMP. Stop let them come on your live and distract you. Because you have people that is on the live that is listening, not participating, not speaking, but they are listening to try to find and get the truth. So don't let them distract you. And the third thing, try and communicate with each other better. That means at the end of the day, each person is sending out the same message. We all want this government to continue. It is sometimes it seems like it's a hard task because if you really understand how majority of the Jamaicans are, well, not majority, but how Jamaicans are, the well-thinking ones are the ones that sit in the back and don't say nothing. The people that go out every day and campaign and talk about politics, most of them are not. They're in the lower class. So the middle and the upper class people who have the sense they don't vote. It there is the people in the lower class and the lower income, they are the ones that vote. Majority of those people are PMPs. It is up to us to get all well-thinking people who care and love Jamaica and want to see the best for their country to go out and vote. That is what we should focus on. The little propaganda that PMP is spreading all every day, leave that alone because one thing, the truth must come out into the light and people will find the truth. Jamaican people, they they have short-term memory and we have to remind them of what and how the PMP was while they were in government. That is what we have to do. Because when you sit and you hear them and they talk about the hospital don't have no bed, you must ask them when PMP was in government, how many beds they put in, how many
Well,
hospital they built, how many
well,
hospital they improved on. When they
well
talk about police don't have no vehicle, ask them a question. When your government was in office, how many cars did they purchase to make sure that police officers have adequate resources to do their jobs?
if I may, Mr. Vassell,
Mm.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I'm a part of several groups. At least, when I say several, I mean several labor right groups. And one of the things I try to do, especially with those who come on to TikTok, I've been on TikTok for over a year now, but it's a few months now, very few, probably about 3 months now, 2, 3 months that I finally decided I'm going to speak on TikTok. And the reason for that, because I consider myself to be a patriotic Jamaican. And Jamaica is first and foremost in my heart and nowhere else. And I want Jamaica to survive. Not just survive, but I want Jamaica to prosper. You can't pay me enough to sell out Jamaica. You don't have that much money in this world. Bill Gates couldn't pay me. The other people who own the big banks of the world, they can't pay.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk's money is small compared to the guys who I'm thinking of. They still couldn't pay me to sell out Jamaica, right? And for that purpose, my journey on TikTok is not just to be a talk shop. I know enough history to silence the PNP. I don't know if you've ever heard me before, Mr. Vassal.
Yeah, man. I
Right,
sit and I listen to you.
right. And when I challenge PNP, I can tell you they usually don't stand up. I find out that their kryptonite is truth, right? Their kryptonite is truth, and their kryptonite is history, right? And part of my reasoning with them, you see, even since night I was here, I was on the outside. I wasn't even in the box listening to this guy talking about a nonsense, and I hear everybody trying to talk at the same time. I don't do that. If I'm going to allow a PNP to talk, I'm going to allow you to finish, and you know why? Because when you're finished and I'm ready to talk, I don't want you to disturb me either. And I'm going to be debunking everything you say, point by point. That is my simple strategy. When you're in our box, you abide by our rules. If not, then you go out and I'm still going to be debunking what you say.
But it was 3 PNP in the box, you know.
No, you mean since night?
Yeah, man, I three of them one
Well,
time.
it's two I heard when I came
Yeah,
over. And
it was
right,
three. It was three.
it doesn't matter how much of them is around, that means nothing to me. I was on a live the other night and it was 7 of them to me alone. 7. And when I was finished, the host laughed after them and said, 7 of you and you can't manage Joshua. Because guess what? As I have a tendency, when they're speaking, you say, Sir Vassal, and I'll just give you a little. When you're up against them, don't try to out-argue them. They'll win if
No,
you
man.
try to out-argue them.
You listen them. You
Right? You
listen.
listen to them and make sure you have a pen and paper. And every point they make, you write it down. Every single point they make, you make sure you put it down in bullet form. And then I make sure I have a laptop right in front of me. So if I don't have the information, I pull it up on the laptop if I don't have it in my head.
Yeah, man.
I pull it up on the laptop right in front of me. And when they're finished, and I pull up all of that document and I'm going through point by point. I'm quoting sources, I'm quoting dates, and if possible, just to be extra, I add the time to it. Right? And if I can find more than one source, I am telling them that this is where it is found. This is the article that was written by this person on this particular day. Yeah? And I remember one night, I
But
had quite
Joshua,
a,
sorry for
yes, sir.
cut you, but the guy now did said what nationwide is not credible.
Yeah, man, you don't listen to that nonsense. You heard the simple question I
So
asked?
so so they we ask you how your
No, 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 no,
information is
no,
credible.
no, no. You must be 2 steps ahead of them at all times. There was a simple question that I asked, and I don't know if it's because I asked that question, but as I got in the box, he left, and it's the second time I said that. You remember the night when they kicked me out of the box? As I got into the box, one of the guys jumped out of the box and leave.
I didn't see it that time, but
Okay.
I hear
Right.
when somebody did said no, like you said, Mark Golin was telling pure lies, and that get one of them upset.
No, not
Don't
not
come
just
over.
not just
It's
that. I mean, they probably said that after I'm gone, but the long and the short, the guy said that nationwide. Listen to this, Sir Vasily, if this isn't absurd. He says nationwide is not credible, you see?
Mm-hmm.
But while he says nationwide is not credible, Chuck asked him one question. Do you believe that the night when Cliff Hughes announced that the PNP won, it was credible? Him say yes.
Yeah, man. No, but listen. Things are credible to them, and when it suits them, when
Right.
when the narrative suits them, they will use it. Whenever it is not suitable to them, then they will discredit it and say it is uh
Not
um
credible.
it's not credible, and nationwide is PNP is JLP.
Right.
What's
Which was what Dayton said some months ago.
what's the word they use?
Uh, the word mean proxy, but I don't
Incubator.
remember.
Incubator.
Right.
They said that nationwide is JLP's incubator,
Right. So,
but
so I
what?
was glad when he made the mistake, because it's a grave error, whether he believed that it was an error or not. It was a grave error on his part to
Mhm.
admit that he thought that that piece of news was credible because
No, but
the next
he said he get the news from Day and
no,
Jackson
no,
Miller.
man, no, let's not conflate the issues. Two different things we are talking about.
Okay.
So the follow-up to that was, how are you using two different measuring rod for the same station, right? Because if you claim that they are not credible, why did you believe when they say that PNP won the election the same night? That means you're using two different metric for
Mm-hmm.
the same station, which
Mm-hmm.
means that you yourself is not credible,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the part of Dion Jackson Miller, he claimed that is a lie. Well, because he was asking Mr. Vassal about the whole matter of the so-called illicit six,
Mhm.
right? And when Chuck asked him where he got it from, he said he heard it from Dion Jackson Miller.
Mhm.
But somebody called him at that time, right? And I figured that they called him and instructed him to get off the live. Because it's about the third or fourth time now I've seen something like that, right? When we corner somebody and they get a call right away and they disappear off the live after that.
Yeah, man, because they screen record the lives,
Mm-hmm.
They screen record it because I saw on Facebook where somebody have up a screenshot of Chops Media, and they posted
And cut it, just put in because even since
some
Evelyn
something
I
of him.
see I see
Hold on there, sweet tips. Let Mr. Vaso finish so that we can get the full context.
mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
they posted they screenshot the picture of the live, and made some ridiculous and derogatory comment about him, about Chaps.
Mm-hmm.
I you know and I said to myself, this is the level, or this is the dirtiness that they will go into. The PMP are willing to wallow in the mud and bring you down,
Mm-hmm.
because what PMP do, is they attack you personally.
Right.
And, and the funny thing is, they believe that because they are using uh, a fake name,
Then you don't know who they are.
you don't know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep on asking the question, when you make false allegations against a person and you cannot prove that to be true, what is the meaning, or what you call that? They cannot say it. And I keep on saying, make sure that the money that you're getting from your party, or from whomever is funding you to come and um, speak those lies about people, make
Can
sure
pay a
that
lawyer fee, eh?
your pockets are deep.
Yes.
Good, because they won't stop until somebody corner them the right way and make sure say them pocket long, not even deep, long,
Yes, man.
right? They need to stop it. But you cannot expect anything better from them because they won't stop. And speaking about the illicit six,
No, so-called.
So, well, no, I'm going to say how they say it.
Right.
I'm speaking about the illicit six. If they know anything about law, I would encourage them to stop. I will also encourage them not to post anything about it, because when the long arm of the law finally takes hold of you, you cannot go and say, because you see or you hear somebody else say it and post it, you post it too, because you're just as guilty as the person who brought up that in the initial stage. And I leave it right there. People need to be careful. And when they're not going to stop until they feel it in the package. So that illicit six argument that is being swung around like a wild person batting. If they know anything about law and know where it can go or it will go, they will stop that foolishness. Because there's two things. If it is so, the Integrity Commission needs to speak how the leader of opposition got that information, because they just broke their law and people can be penalized for it. If it is not so, then the leader of opposition needs to give account how and where and why he got that information from.
He said that him set up the committee.
So when they're doing that, they need to make sure that they have the lawyer fees. The lawyer, the big lawyers in the party that they support don't have time to go and sit in courthouse to plead their case.
But even the young man on their side who play guilty, you hear no one of them talking about it.
No, because you see, this is what they'll do to you, because you're so gullible, and you want a little 5,000 or 10,000 or whatever they are giving to you or offering you. You're so gullible for it. You're not thinking at the time, but it's when shit hit the fan, and you think that they are going to be backing you. They're not going to back you. They're going to back away from you and let you one stand and deal with it. So come hell or high water, they're not going to support you. And if you realize that there are certain things that none of their members are coming to say on any social media platform, because they know that it is a liable statement that they are making, and they can be sued for it. So they
So
let
did you know that Marky British dual citizen don't discuss on their platform?
it's not something that they want to discuss, and
But why?
it is not
For the
something.
viewers and their
All right,
whatever to.
so listen now, and we go to history again. PNP was
I'm not hearing you
say,
though.
say, you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
You hear me?
Yeah,
While the
man, I'm
PNP was
hearing you.
in office, things that would not happen, I think, in the country when they were in office. But it's when PNP came out of power, you hear them talk about it. And I said that because they speak about things when it is convenient to them. They
Mm-hmm.
won't speak about the dual citizenship matter, because it is a touchy situation, and because they want to show a level of unity and let the people have perceive that yes, the PNP is united, so they won't speak out against the dual citizenship matter. And there's two things, and I want you to understand that by law, he is not doing anything wrong by law, right? But the moral etiquette of it is wrong. And if he had came out from the get go and said, yes, I have a dual citizenship and all of that, people would leave that long time ago.
So you,
People
you
would leave
do
that
you
long time
agree
ago.
with PJ Patterson?
If I agree with
Uh-huh.
PJ Patterson is a learned individual,
Mm-hmm.
And when PJ speaks about something,
Mm-hmm.
he speaks about it on the basis of good governance. I would say. So
But
if he, come
PJ
on,
say he should
I know what
not.
he said. I know what he's saying, and people don't understand the fullness of what PJ is saying because PJ, from where he is sitting and being the party person that he is, it is not a good look for Mr. Golden. If Mr. Golden renounce his citizenship, alright, put it this way, the longer he takes to do the right thing, it is the harder it will take for him to sit as
So people no see the what they call it now. It, people can see that it's know that he is a very dishonest man. You know,
yeah
have
man.
no credibility.
Yeah, because the mere fact,
But if him a run around the country and I tell people say Andrew
One, one,
Wallace have no.
one moment, sweet tips. What you need to
Uh-huh.
understand is that there's a culture in Jamaica, you see. People listen to two things: blatant rumor or the loudest voice.
Okay.
Right?
and PNP
A
have
lot of,
both.
pardon me?
PNP have both.
Right. And so, the comrades who are on TikTok, they have the first thing that they try to do, and I've been telling laborites this from 2016. I have a few persons who are on TikTok now, they can tell you that I've been saying it. When they were saying PNP dead in the water and can't come back, I said to them, do not say that. I said, leading up onto the '07 election, no one would have thought that JLP could have been in government. The PNP was united. The JLP was in shambles.
True.
And the PNP was of the view that the JLP would never return to power. And I said that was the undoing of the PNP. And so we must learn from our opponents. It is a song that I sing daily. Learn from your opponents. And I write quotation. You see, on one of the quotes that I wrote, it says, learn from the mistakes of your enemy and also learn from the victories. Learn from the defeats of your enemies as well as the victories of your enemies. There's a reason for that. Because the victories of your enemy told you what they did right and what their opponent needed to correct. Their defeats tell you what they did wrong and what their opponent did right. Right? And if you can gather both information and use it as a template going forward, it makes you a more formidable foe for your opponent. Right? And so one of the strategies that I've observed, because I make sure that I study political history, not from a university level, but the type of history that a lot of people don't study. It's the grassroots kind of history I study politically. It's how political parties function, in particularly the People's National Party. Their strategy has always been to target the leader of the Jamaica Labour Party. Let us go back to Buster.
Thank you.
They tell you that Buster cannot read.
Mm-hmm. But
And
yet him
so,
take a bullet. Yet
no
him take
man,
a bullet.
right? We're not going to look at what he took. We're looking at the strategy of our opponent. That's our focus right now,
Yeah.
right? So they say Buster cannot read, and he spelled bread B-R-E-D. They said Shearer, trim Rasta and lock him up and lock them up. Songster wasn't there long enough for them to say anything about it, right? As far as I know. But them say Mr. Siaga is a white man and it's black man time come now. They set up Bruce, right, to take the fall for something because they know Bruce is a principled man. When Andrew just came in and the Prime Minister was very present in the media,
Then campaign upon him house.
no man, not going there so yet. Not going there so yet. And he was very present in the media. I told Labourites, if you can get the ear of the Prime Minister, tell him to speak unless it's totally a matter of national importance because he's too visible as a Prime Minister. Let his spokesperson do the speaking and you take a back seat. Let me tell you why. There's a thing that they call the novelty of newness. You know of that, Mr. Vassar, right?
Yeah, man.
When something is new, it carries more weight. You ever meet a girl yet and before you and she settle down, she do everything for please you?
Mm.
And when she feels that she have you now, as long as she thinks she don't have you, she will do
She'll do everything.
everything for you to be the guy. And especially if you have another woman, she will do everything to woo you in her direction. But as soon as she realizes you left everybody else and settle down with her, that
Gone
effort
back to
that
her
she
old
used to
self.
put in, and so it is. That is what I was warning against. I said, listen, the Prime Minister need to speak. And I even pointed to PJ Patterson. I said, PJ is not my favorite cup of tea. But notice when he was Prime Minister, only when the country falling apart that he may come out and give a speech and then go right back to being PJ again. Not
Not
much.
only
You
that.
don't hear much. Huh?
Not only that. Not only that. When PJ speaks, whether I like him or not, the whole nation listen.
And that is the point. That is the point that I was trying to bring across to say, if you speak less, when you make a statement, it carries far more weight because people are not accustomed to you speaking.
Mm.
So they will stop and listen to you. Right? And so at that time, I spoke to persons and I said, listen, if you can get the Prime Minister ears, just tell him that him too visible in the public's eyes, man. And he makes himself, a target by doing that. I mean, I don't know if anybody got to his ears, but I'm not convinced that they did.
But
And I
I'm
said,
going to show you something, Joshua.
mm-hmm.
I just speak about how they bring down people's character, especially the leaders. Now, I don't know if people remember when there were only 7 JLP MPs sitting in Parliament, and
Yes,
the most vocal of them that was sitting in Parliament was Adli Shah.
right. And them used to call him Audrey.
No man, his sister name is Audrey. What they
No,
used
no, I'm telling you what I hear them say in
oh
public. Them used to
what
nickname him Audrey Shaw
what his
because some
nickname
people wanted to be rude and call him Mama Long Tongue.
yeah, man, what
Right?
people used to call him though is Water Boy.
Yes, I remember that. Same with the Prime Minister Water Boy.
Not only Prime Minister Water Boy, but he is the party's Water Boy. When they realized that they had enough, they have done enough damage to Eddie Siaga, and Eddie was looking now for somebody to take over the party because at that time Bruce Golding had already left and formed the NDM.
India, right.
The person that they thought would be in line for the leadership of the party
Was
was
oddly.
Ardley
Right.
because Ardley was the most vocal person. And it reached the point that Ardley Shaw was targeted personally and his seat was targeted by the PMP. So every election, because Ardley was a tick in the PMP's back, and when he speaks and he speaks the truth, and people listen to Adley because people love Adley Shine.
Yeah, man.
People love Adley Shine and in talk and in afraid to talk.
Yes. And then he adds a little humor to it, make it even worse.
Yeah. So he has this the charismatic personality to him. So what they start to do now is say, oh, Alisha can't run no business. So if you go run Jamaica, Alisha have 4 business and the 4 them mash up. Alisha this and the Alisha that and the Alisha can't get leadership of the party. And Alisha, remember Master Alisha the PNP and they find every living thing to discredit Hardly. When they realize now that Bruce came back into the party, and it was Bruce now that was up on top now to be selected as the leader. They start to laugh at artists. Oh yes, you're gonna make Bruce come and take over back the party. You need to get it because it did a long time and Ray. They do everything because the same thing that they're doing. And you see,
You left out something, do you know?
mhm,
When Bruce finally got it, them start calling Mr. Flip Flop. You forget that?
yes, they call
Yeah,
him
man.
flip flop
Yeah.
and then call him turncoat.
Yeah.
So
But I
when
same thing them a try do to the young lady down at Mandeville now.
no man, listen, it's not she they're trying to do it with too. It's Andrew.
No man, them a try do
Oh,
it with the
oh,
girl
you don't
because
understand.
remember say,
Listen,
she's a new timer, she's a first timer and she bust the man the ass.
no man, that is far from that. Remember, anything that connects, you can connect Andrew Holness' name to.
Yes, yes.
They will use it. So they are using her name to connect it to him to make sure that you have some division in the party. The same division that they have in their party, they want to have it in the Jamaica Labour Party, right? And we're not going to allow that.
In fact, Mr. Vassal, they have been trying that for the last 3 years now,
Yep.
because they have been trying to put Tufton against the Prime Minister forever and ever. In fact, there were innuendos leading up, in fact, it's more than 3 years, leading up to the 2020 election.
Mm-hmm.
There were arguments circulating around that Tufton and the Prime Minister not speaking. I don't know
True.
if you heard those
And,
Yeah,
rumors.
yeah
and I
man, me
heard it.
hear that, me
And
hear
there's a
that.
new one, and there's a new one out there too. I don't know if people hear it. There's a new one that says that Floyd Green is going to be the next prime minister.
So you know that they're going to target Floyd Green if that's the case.
But listen, history is a good teacher,
Right.
and if people don't learn from history, they are not good students. And if the Jamaica Labour Party supporters and members don't learn from history, they are not good students. Because I remember when the party was divided, and it was a division of the party
That
that
kept us out for
kept us
that long.
out for that long. It was a division of the party that kept us from winning the 2002 election, along with the promise of 2003 will be pothole free,
Right.
along with the promise of every picnic or every household can afford food and meat. And they did that and they won 2002 election.
But in addition to that, leading up to the 2002 general election, I don't know if you remember, after they interviewed Maxine Henry Wilson, because I think she was GenSec at the time, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah man.
Right. And they interviewed her right afterwards and asked her what was their strategy going into this election. You remember what was her response?
Divide and conquer man.
I remember she saying to the reporter that our simple strategy was to demonize Edward Seaga.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah,
That's it. Divide and conquer.
yeah,
But I am heading back on the road now.
yes, man.
And I want to leave you with a piece of homework for everybody that is on the live here, whether you're PNP or you're JLP. the UK Constitution. Do some reading up on it.
We have
Yeah,
about
man. I'm
not
going.
taking up arms against the UK.
No man, that part is there. But do a little research on the part that says no citizen of no British national should pledge allegiance to any other state or country. And I'll say good night to you guys.
All right.
Oh,
I
yeah, man.
Tell me which part of the article because I want to find it and shove it out there. So he may not be in
It is
his argument. He may not be breaking Jamaican law, but he's
okay.
breaking the country of his birth law. But
I
listen,
told
I don't believe that this man was born here. You know, I'm
um
gonna give you something to run with. You see,
mhm.
you remember he said that he went to Campion, right?
Yeah man.
The research has shown that he only spent 1 year at Campion.
I saw that.
Okay.
It it, it,
Okay.
it is in the same section that it speaks about bearing arms against for another country.
Right. Okay.
I,
Okay.
I had told Chuck to go and take a read.
Okay. And
Okay.
that means we can screenshot it and float it around, man.
Yeah man, go and
Yeah,
take
man.
a read. Go and take a read at it. It
Yeah,
is
man.
right
But
there.
I noticed this guy fast asleep, man.
No, man, it's all right, man. Remember, you're dealing with human beings and working people, you know, sir.
Yeah,
So
true.
these things happen over and over. If it's not him tonight, it may be him tonight, but it may be you tomorrow or me another night,
Yeah
True,
man.
true,
you know.
true,
So, people are working people, and we just have to understand that, your body can go so far and no more.
true.
Sir Vassal, we appreciate it and we're looking forward to having you more, not just on politics and sport, but on Chuck Finley and Chops
I'm
and
man. You know, I
right.
just
Somebody
And,
was typing the comment, Joshua, where is what that young lady named Munchie?
she's on a small sabbatical.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Right.
man.
In addition to that, we have Dujan. Dujan Dawes is one of us.
Yeah, man.
Right.
I
No, no,
see
man. I'm
Dushan.
just telling Mr. Vassal so that he knows. You
Yeah, man.
know.
As I say, I'm always watching the live because most of the times I'm on the road. I watching live.
And also Jam Views.
No,
And
man.
some of the
Jam
times
Views
that
is not us, sir.
no, Jam Views is not our fault.
Jam Views is not us. Definitely not us.
Yeah?
They
I got
purport
kicked off Jam
purported
Views already,
us.
sir. Jam Views is not
Jan
us.
Views. Uh-huh.
They act like they're us, but they are not.
What
They're
you
not us,
saying?
sir. I got kicked
Yeah, man.
off Jam Views because they wanted me to agree with them on some lies that they were telling.
A leopard cannot
No,
change his
no, man.
pattern. You know that
No, I know that one me attack, man. Yeah, that boy they are PMP, man. Sorry,
yeah,
not
that
Jan Views.
links
Some Jam Media. What your name?
Oh, Infomedia.
information.
Infomedia. That's the correct. Sorry
Right.
about Jam Views, man.
Yeah.
Infomedia. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So big
Fine.
up yourself and
God
take
bless you,
care
man. Take
and
care.
spread the good word.
Yeah, man. Walk
Thank
good.
you.
All right.
Same
And
to you,
drive
sir.
good, yeah?
Yeah,
All
man.
right. Sweet,
Mm.
sweet tips. I'm gonna run.
Yeah,
But
myself too, you know. So
yeah, man.
uh politics and sport.
No, it's all right. I'll give him a call if he's
Yeah,
fast.
because a time now for put up, you know.
Yeah, man.
So guys, it
But
was good to be here, you know. Big up
yeah,
on
man.
yourself.
And what I want you to do sometimes just pop in and listen because the more information you have by listening
I
is the better.
always listen, you know.
Right.
I pop
Make
in
note.
and
Get your book, get your paper sometime, and just simply write down what you hear because the memory sometimes will fade.
true, true,
Right.
true,
And if
true.
the more information you have, is the more you can beat back the lies that are being spread.
Exactly. You know. Yeah, man. Thanks for the encouragement still, you know.
Yeah,
Big up
man.
yourself. Big up yourself, Joshua.
Yeah, man. God bless you, man.
Yeah, man. Cool.
Petal
Wow.
and Renzi. Renzi, are you up and you don't come inside? How you for do that? Easy what?